Happy Tuesday, everyone. Obviously, it's been a hot minute or 2 weeks since my last video. And my hope is to be a little bit more consistent about this, maybe change my mentality from doing a longer form 20, 30-minute podcast and try to condense that down to somewhere between 5 and 10 just to be more consistent with it. Because I have a tendency to want to be perfect per se, or be as make as good of content right off the rip as possible. And realistically, I'm just not going to do that. Most not saying that I won't ever make good content or quality content, just more so that I can't push myself and burn myself out. And I need to make sure I'm enjoying the process, making sure I'm learning, progressing, but not feeling like I have to make everything tier one, right? S tier, whatever you want to say, on my first go. And I have a bad tendency to do that, which leads me to this video where I'm going to likely spend more of a single episode talking about a subject that I find interesting, or a news piece that I have thoughts and opinions on, because I'm a human and we have thoughts and opinions. So thank you for everyone who's watching this and is going to join me along in this journey, whether that means that I post every day, every other day, once a week, once every 2 weeks, because this is episode 3 of the Exploration Gaming podcast, where I talk about and give my opinion on video game news, video games, general media content news. But let's get into my little subject today. And the question is, are video games too cheap right now? Because Take-Two boss, as I'm sure many of you who are in the gaming space, hardcore gamers, or individuals who just really love gaming news and the games industry in general, like myself, probably saw that Take-Two boss said pricing has not kept pace with inflation in return in reference to video games. Obviously, as we know, I've covered in one of my earlier videos, GTA 6 is either going to cost you $80 for the base edition, or the edition that doesn't have all the content, or it's going to cost you $100 for their ultimate edition, which is basically the actual game. If you want to play GTA 6, you have to pay $100 to get all of the content. It's tangent real quick. This new ultimate edition versus regular edition is more so, hey, is the new DLC, in my opinion. You have, it's Take-Two saying, hey, here, listen, you can get the full game at $100, or you can get part of the game minus some of the cool stuff for $80. You save $20, but you're not going to get, maybe you won't get a mission or two, or maybe you're not going to get a location or some kind of add-on. And if you want the full experience, you're going to have to pay $20 more, $100. Now, before I get into my thoughts much further, let's talk about what he said, go over what he said. So from IGN, they pull out his quote from, I believe it was an earnings call. He says, we aim to always deliver vastly more value than we charge. And we think that price point, the $80 to $100 price point, allows us to do just that. And then, of course, we have a premium opportunity for people who want to avail themselves of that. And even that one, again, we think is priced in a way so as to deliver much more value than what we're charging. He goes on to talk about how it's going to be a case-by-case basis. It's very much case by case, he said, pointing to the $50 price point 2K went with the Mafia, the old country. Then earlier today, which was back 4 days ago on August 7th, an investor focused Q&A following Take-Two's Q1 2027 financial results, Zelnick insisted that video game pricing has not kept up with inflation. Look, he says, I think Rockstar got it right in terms of pricing of the standard edition and the pricing of the deluxe edition. And I think there's no doubt that consumers are really excited about both. I think depending on your own ability to pay and how avid a consumer you are, you can choose between them. But the pre-orders have been exceptional, and we're happy with the mix as well. He added, the truth is that the real cost of a AAA game is a whole lot lower today than it was 20 years ago. Pricing has not kept pace with inflation, and our goal is to continue to over-deliver for our consumers. Because how you feel about the experience is the intersection of the experience itself and what you pay for it. So, to say that we expect Grand Theft Auto 6 will be an incredible bargain as experience goes is a gross understatement, because Rockstar Games is known for over-delivering. He's correct. Video games haven't kept up with inflation per se. There's a caveat here that we'll get to. But 20 years ago, video games were about $60. I remember getting my PS2 early 2000s, and the video games were $50. I remember getting Bionicles for $50, and now Bionicles might have been only $50 because it probably wasn't a very good game. But video game, I remember buying video games for the PS2 at $60, buying video games for the PS3 at $60. Now, PS3 came along with DLC, which was a way for people to get more money. But the game prices at the time were $60. They stayed $60 up until a couple years ago, where they finally started getting bumped up to $70 for more premium experiences. We look at Nintendo was kind of one of the first ones to do that, where a lot of their games are starting to be $70 if they're more premium titles, such as Pokopia or Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Those ones are $70, and justifiably so. They are a bigger experience. They're a higher production value. Then yeah, I totally agree. Which, to take Zelnick's point, it should be a case-by-case basis, because you shouldn't be charging $70, $80, $100 for a game that's a lower, I don't want to say lower quality, but a smaller experience of a game, versus GTA 6 at $100 for the deluxe, for the ultimate edition, which is just the base game with everything. It is the everything portion of the game. Again, coming back to it, the $80 version is not the full game. It is a watered down version that does not have all the content. You're paying $100 for all the content. So that's the point I'm going to make here. At $100, that is what the cost of a video game would be today versus 2006. Meaning they're charging what video games should cost if you include inflation. Now, for him, who they've spent 12 years on GTA 6. Let's see, GTA 5 release date. GTA 5, 13 years. It'll be over 13 years by the time it's released in November. Released September 17, 2013, Grand Theft Auto 5. Yeah, after 13 years, he's probably thinking, hey, we got to recoup quite a bit of costs. However, this is an awkward thing for him to say, because GTA 6 is on pace to make an obscene amount of money. I mean, people are going to buy this hand over fist. This is a system seller. So for him to say it hasn't kept up with inflation, yeah, you're right. I mean, he's not wrong. Video games still being $60, $70 or $80, it is not keeping up with inflation because they should be $100. However, there's a caveat to this beyond the fact that not all games should be $80. Not all games should be $100. Not all games should be even $60. He has to we have to all understand that video gaming is a hobby. It is a expendable income. It's where we put our expendable income when we have it. If video games kept up with inflation, let's just say the base price of every single game kept up with inflation and they were $100 each, we would have a lot less studios. We already don't have a lot. We are seeing indie games fill these gaps of video games because we're missing these things. We are, how do you say this? We don't get AAA video games, or we can't afford a AAA video game every month, even at $60. You can maybe afford a AAA video game every now and then sprinkle in a couple indies because they're $20, $30, or you wait for sales. We are going to see more consolidation or businesses, more layoffs or closure of studios if video games kept up with inflation. Plain and simple. That's just how it's going to be. And he's already talking about, hey, they don't cost as much, but more games are coming out than ever. Now, how much of those are AI slop or friend slop games, things chasing trends? How much of them are actually going to be the needle in the haystack that, hey, here's the gem indie. Here's the indie darling you're looking for. Although I'm looking at you, Bad Magpie. I am beyond excited for that one. That's my indie darling for this year or next. Anyways, you're not going to see. I think that if you saw an increase in or price or a maintaining of inflation pricing of video games, we'd see more closures, more layoffs than we're already seeing, which is not great right now. If I'm being honest, when you look at it in that sense, I already think that we're going to see studio closures. I think we're going to see more layoffs, unfortunately, from some of these studios because September and October are full of releases. Everyone scattered from November because of GTA 6. And we're going to see poor sales for certain video games because people either waiting for GTA 6 to come out. They're going to choose one game from September and October to play. And we're just going to see some of these games not succeed. There will be some games that aren't going to sell. I mean, I was looking at it just a bit ago, and I want to run through some of the big games that are coming out. We have in September, so starting with September, we have Blood of Dawnwalker, Orbitals, Onimusha Way of the Sword, Halloween the Game, that's a little bit more niche. Valheim's coming to 1.0, I believe. Marvel's Wolverine, exclusive, but if you own a PS5, you're probably buying it. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, Dune Awakening coming to PS5 and Xbox, Control Resident, Silent Hill Townfall, Minecraft Dungeon 2, Dynasty Warriors is coming out beginning of October, Ace Combat 8, you have Disney Epic Mickey Rerush, Gears of War E-Day, Star Wars Galactic Racer. You have Kingdom Hearts Collection coming to PS5, Switch, and Xbox. Valor Mortis, Castlevania Belmont's Curse, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. That alone in October is going to make people are going to buy that over some of these other games because they always buy Call of Duty, just how it is. Meaning that's $70 people aren't going to spend on another game in October. I digress. Nintendo Switch Sports Resort, again, probably will be fine because it is a Nintendo game. It's a Switch 2 game. It's a continuation of a very popular quote-unquote franchise from Nintendo. Final Fantasy Resonance also, Phantom Blade Zero in October, at the end of October. That's a ton of games. And that's just the big games. There are other games on this list that, I mean, who's going to buy? How many people are rushing to buy Planet Zoo 2? SpongeBob SquarePants Titan of the Tide for Switch. Dragon's Dogma 2, Dragon's Dogma 2 Dark Arisen on Switch 2. I mean, I don't know if I said Rayman's Legends Retold. I don't think that's going to make it. Ace Combat 8. There's a lot of these games that are going to be super niche for an audience. And coming back, again, tying this back into the point, he's saying, hey, these games haven't kept up with inflation. You're right. But they can't. Just because inflation is getting higher does not mean that games can just increase in price, because people don't have the expendable income to buy all of these games. And again, easy for him to say when he's releasing the biggest game of the decade since 2013, when GTA 5 came out. It's going to be the biggest game of the next 13 years until maybe we see a GTA 7. And even then, is GTA 7 going to be the same? I mean, with all this AI, again, it's just easy for him to be like, hey, it's easy for me. It's we can charge this because it's GTA. You can. Totally agree. Get your bread, man. Get the bread. Keep your studio open. Don't lay people off when the game releases. Hey, I'm all for it. But video games can't keep up with inflation. It's just not possible. Anyways, that's my soapbox. Hopefully I made a coherent circle. Got back around to my point. Thanks for listening. We'll be back sometime this week for my next opinionated rant about the games industry. Although I think this one's pretty good, is honest. Thanks for watching. Until next time, love y'all. Keep exploring those games.